And welcome to another episode of the Hammer Drops. I'm your host, Laoch. Wow, what a weekend, what a weekend. I don't know if any of you have caught any of the news that's been happening, but if you're not, that's why you're here today, is to hear what has been going on in a weekend kind of review style format that I got coming at you today on this show. So, the left, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know. Okay, if any of you guys are on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, you can see the propaganda. And I'm very happy that Elon Musk has kept the freedom of speech alive and well there. But I think they need to start checking on some of these supposable accounts, um, because oh my God, you can just tell the propaganda that's coming from the left when it pertains to guns, when it pertains to Trump, just all of it, even Palestine, this Palestine shit. I'm sorry, we're gonna that's starting to drive me nuts a little bit, but we're gonna get into all this today. One of the key things that they're trying to spin is Trump's stance on mass deportation. Now, I'm all 100% for. If you want to come to this country legally and do it the right way, by all means, come on over. Go through the process. And that's essentially where Trump stands with it, is do it legally and get rid of the illegal migrants that are essentially going to get lost in the shuffle anyways. Let's face it. 90 I would have to say about 90% of the people that are crossing the border right now are single-aged male fighting, of fighting age. They're not coming over with women and children. Those are the people that those are the people that he's talking about. Not the people that are coming over here with families, wives, kids, all that stuff, because those are the people that are actually truly trying to seek asylum and better their lives and have a better just life in general for them and their families. Whereas all these males coming from synagogue, Muslim nations, and all that stuff, they're here for one reason, and we're starting to see that now unfold with these pro-Hamas things that are going on all over the country. I mean, Veterans Day. Veterans Day. Let's talk about Veterans Day real quick. For the first time, you got Joe Biden and the Democrats, trying to, you know, be in solidarity with our veterans. And yet they're okay with veterans being kicked out of hotels to house migrants. How is that even right? They put the migrants and illegal immigrants over our veterans day in and day out. And they want you to forget about that, but I'm not going to let you forget about that because they're not. If they took the money that they were giving and the resources that they were giving these illegal migrants, illegal immigrants for coming over here and gave it to our veterans would probably have a much better life, especially our homeless veterans. Give it to them. They deserve it more than these illegals. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you that listen to the show could agree with that. Now, if you come over here legally, then fine. Then there should be resources for you as well, but the resources should only be there for a short period of time. You are an adult, you are a person. Get on your own 2 feet and support you and your family. Don't depend on government. And I think that's what a lot of these migrants are thinking, is that our government's going to continually pay for them because they are, and that's what they're hoping for. And that's why they're, protesting and bitching and moaning about wanting this and that, healthcare, and it's like, no. You came here illegally anyways, I don't know what to tell you. But what the left is trying to do is spin it and say that Trump wants to build these concentration camps for them and all of this stuff. Come on. Really? I mean, and that's coming from the New York Times. And if you listen to the New York Times at all and believe them, then you probably listen to CNN as well. See, I agree with Trump on mass deportation because we have people in this country that don't need to be here. We have criminals that came over, essentially, and this is something that they don't want to tell you about. South America, a lot of these immigrants that are coming over have been released from prisons because they're dumping their prison systems in other countries and because they're coming here. So we're getting those people, and that's what's happening. Now, speaking of illegal immigrants and homelessness and just the chaos of the Democrats, and especially, let's take a look. I want you to focus over there on California, especially San Francisco. Remember how bad it was with the drug usage and the homeless situation going on over there, all over the streets, running rampant, all that. Isn't it funny on how Joe Biden and President Xi of China, I should say dictator Xi of China, are going to be there? And all of a sudden, all of that is gone, and San Francisco is a clean city once again. Funny, isn't it, how that happens? Over here in Chicago, you have illegal migrants leaving the city of Chicago because it's starting to get cold, and we're expecting free housing. And, well, they weren't getting it because the people of Chicago are kind of getting sick of it. They're starting to question, like, and I would have to agree with them. The money that they are using for these illegal immigrants should be used in the towns and the cities where it's needed most for resources, for citizens. And yet the city of Chicago doesn't want to do that. They feel that dumping the money with illegal migrants is the way to go instead of taking care of its citizens. But the citizens have put their foot down and have spoken, and where they stand with that goes, and rightfully so. That money should be allocated for those communities, not illegal immigrants. You see the pattern here. So the Democrats are spinning it to make the Republicans look bad, and especially make Trump look bad, when in actuality it has nothing to do with them. Because Trump wants to deport, and many, many Americans stand by that and agree with it. But the Democrats have to put some sort of twist to it to make them the almighty, when we all know that they're not. So, yeah, you have that. So, and then now they're trying to attack Trump's cognitive well-being. Let's not speak about Joe Biden's cognitive well-being at all. Let's not speak of how many different Joe Bidens there are. Let's not, speak of anything of that, because once you say that point out about Joe Biden's cognitive decline, boy, do they get mad, because they're like, no, he's not. He's fine. He's the greatest president ever. He's done this. He's done that. He's done this, which is complete lies and bullshit. Okay? So now they're trying to attack that on Trump as well, because I think Trump said something about one of the Sioux Falls, South, whatever. Okay, this man is on the campaign trail every single day. Whereas Joe Biden spends most of his time in the basement or on the beach, where he can't even lift his own chair. But let's attack Trump because he said the wrong city. Oh boy, he's not mentally able to be a president now, but Joe Biden is. Mr. Falls off a bike that's not even moving. Mr. Falls up a flight of stairs. Mr. Falls on a stage. I mean, they clear the room over in the Middle East because he literally shit himself. Yeah, they don't want to talk about that. You ever wonder what the push is for this green agenda? You ever wonder that? Well, you might want to look up into that, because through some research, I have found that Joe Biden, well, actually Hunter Biden, is on the board of an energy company, obviously, with China and all that stuff, and they own they made one of the largest purchases of cobalt over there in Africa, and they're in control of that. It's funny how all that money is just going to be funneled right back into the Biden pocketbook, but you know, there's nothing going on here, right? Nothing at all. Nothing to see. This is the stuff that they're doing, and unfortunately people are just falling for it. They're not opening their eyes to it. They're not really paying attention. So you have that. Then you have them again, like I said, how they on Veterans Day wanted to, be in solidarity with all of our veterans. But let's not forget what Joe Biden and his administration has done to our veterans since he took office. And great thing you're here, because I'm going to fucking remind you about that. Number one, Joe Biden mandated the vaccine amongst our military men and women, and those who refused were booted out of the military, knowing full well what the vaccine was doing to people, was making our military men and women do that. Number one. Number two, his pull out of Afghanistan, that whole debacle, and how he was at the funerals, where it was more important for him to look at his watch than actually pay a fucking attention to what was going on, and actually giving a crap about the service members that were murdered over there with the way he pulled out of Afghanistan. But they want you to believe that he's all for our military. And the same thing goes with the whole administration, when we know they're not. And that brings me to this last point for this episode today. And that, my dear friends, is this Palestinian pro-Hamas crap that is going on in the United States, on our fucking ground, on American soil. The crap that our police, our government are allowing to happen is ridiculous. And any American should be appalled by it. On Veterans Day, you have these protests going on with these pro-Hamas Palestinian fucks tearing down American flags to put up a Palestinian flag on American soil. And in the background, the videos are all over Twitter, all over the place. You can watch these videos for yourself. And in the background, you see police not doing a fucking thing. Not doing a goddamn thing. When they protest in front of the White House. Now, and I said this in the last episode, one of my last episodes, I'm not a Joe Biden fan. I absolutely despise and loathe Joe Biden. There's no doubts about that. But what happened at the White House should never have happened. Action should have been taken, and those people should have been arrested, or at least a couple rubber bullets bounced off their fucking heads or whatever. That would have dispersed that crowd real quick. But you have all of this going on all over the United States. And if you don't see it by now, let me just tell you, this is going to be the summer of love 2024 2.0 from, remember 2020 with BLM? Well, now it's going to be this pro-Palestinian bullshit. That's what's coming for the 2024 elections. Just in time. If you don't see it yet, then smack yourself in the face a few times, wake the fuck up, because that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, you see it revving up really quick here, right? And I guess the kicker is you could be on social media and you see all these people in solidarity with Palestine. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm pro-Israel, because Israel, they've got their issues, and what they're doing to innocent people, I don't agree with. But if you speak out against Israel, now you're anti-Semitic. Now you're racist, because you have an opinion, you have a voice. Well, I'm not anti-Semitic or anything like that. I do believe that what Israel is doing is wrong. There are war crimes happening over there on both ends. Innocent people are dying. And that's why I also feel that we should not be funding either side of the war, but yet Joe Biden feels that it's okay to fund Gaza and it's okay to fund Israel and give, money to the Palestinians. Now, Americans, listeners, I want you to remember one thing, because I have listeners all over the world, from the UK to the Philippines to Germany to the Nordic regions, all over Australia, everywhere. And everybody's seeing these fucking movements in their countries. England, France, Germany, all of them. It's these Muslim extremists that are coming in to try to take over. People, hold your ground. There's no room for this movement in today's society whatsoever. And what people really need to understand is, and I'm going to, just call it as it is right now, folks. Do you remember back in 9/11 when the Twin Towers went down and all that stuff? All those American lives lost. You know who was laughing? The same people that you're supporting that flag over. The Palestinians were laughing at the dead Americans, the Muslims. Maybe not all Palestinian people, but the Muslims were laughing with that flag. And here you are, like fools, with it up on your Facebook, wearing their little scarves or whatever the fuck you want to call it, in solidarity with Palestine. So, with all of you that are in support of Palestine, I hope you remember, and I really want you to think of how those American families that have lost somebody that they loved on that day, how they would feel about the situation today and what is happening. This, folks, is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Summer 2024 is going to be, I would say, 10 times worse than the summer of 2020. And that's because people are going to allow it. And hopefully, at some point, people will put their foot down and realize what the hell is going on. Now, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, do me a favor, share the episode with a family member, friend, rate the show, give it a like, and don't forget to follow us on social media and your favorite podcast platform. Because without you helping us break these algorithms, we're not going to get out to more new people. But I see that it's working, and I want to thank you once again. So, until the next time, folks, be good to one another.